I am once again here with lesson number 10 of your course book, that is Agra's Crows. So, first tell me, how many type of birds have you seen? And what are their sounds? Which bird do you like most? You might have seen many birds and you might have heard the sound of them. Some are melodious and some are having the irritating sound. So crow is also one of them that is not liked by many of the people. But here we are going to read about it. इसी के बारे में we are going to read in this lesson. So what is it about? This lesson is written by somebody, name is not mentioned. It is about Agra crows. How many crows are there in Agra? The question was asked by Akbar to his courtiers to check their wittiness. And as we all know that Birbal was the most wittiest person and the intelligent person of his court. So he was ready to answer every question with his wits. He used his wits to use it. He was very intelligent and ready to answer every time. So here what has happened, that once Akbar was sitting in his court with his courtiers and his ministers. So he asked a challenging question to them. And what was the reaction, how they reacted, and who gave the answer, that we are going to read in this lesson. Emperor Akbar was a just, kind, and wise ruler. He loved to be in the company of witty and talented people. Occasionally, he would ask strange and challenging questions to his courtiers that required a lot of wisdom to answer. Birbal, his clever minister, always had an answer for any question, no matter how difficult it was. On one such day, Emperor Akbar was meeting some of his special courtiers and nobles to discuss important matters about his empire. So Akbar was a very kind and honest ruler, and he loved to be in the company of intelligent person. So every now and then he threw a question, an intelligent question to his courtiers to check their wittiness, to check their intelligence. And most of the time, his clever minister, whose name was Birbal, we all know, Akbar Birbal के किस्से सबने पढ़े हुए. So Birbal, he was always ready to answer any question, no matter how difficult the question was. कितना भी difficult, he was ready to answer every question. So one day when Akbar was sitting in his court with his ministers and his courtiers and nobles and was discussing some state matters, suddenly he thought to check their wittiness, to check their quick wittedness, to check their intelligence, to check their quick presence of mind. So what did he do? To ask them, suddenly he demanded, tell me at once how many crows are there in all of Agra. It is important for me to know that immediately. He asked to them that how many crows are there in Agra. Tell me. So everybody started thinking about it, that how many crows are there, because they were not knowing it. They were not familiar it. So they started thinking about it, what should be the answer of it. The courtiers were taken by surprise. They were surprised. They were speechless and looked at each other alarmed. They did not know what to do. Some nobles had an idea of how many elephants are there in the city, while some had an approximate idea of how many horses are there. One man had even kept track of how many peacocks are there. But crows? Such type of bird? Nobody has counted it. How has one supposed to know that? Nobody was having that answer. So what has happened? When he threw the question, everybody was surprised. They looked at each other's faces, that whether somebody is knowing the answer, because they were not familiar with it. Some had the idea, one of the nobles and courtiers had the idea that how many horses are there in the kingdom. One has the idea that how many elephants are there in the kingdom, and one has even counted the number of peacocks also, but nobody has thought about the crows. So they were surprised. The why king emperor is asking about the number of crows, and they were surprised and looking at each other's faces. They were worried also that what answer they will give if emperor will ask to him. Some courtiers tried to hide behind their friends. कुछ courtiers एक दूसरे के पीछे छुपने लग गए to hide behind friends. A few of them looked up at the sky anxiously, and few started looking up at the sky, whether they will see some of the crows and count them, anxiously wondering if they could make a quick guess of the total number of crows in Agra. They were thinking that they can make a quick guess. अंदाजा लगा लें कि कितने उड़ रहे हैं. By seeing that, they can guess that how many crows are there in Agra. Only Birbal remained calm and silent. Birbal was the only person who was sitting silently and smiling. He was not worried, not even giving counting, not even doing anything. He was just sitting silently. And Akbar was also looking at him. So what should be his reaction? As everybody was restless, they started counting and looking here and there and trying to hide themselves. But Birbal stood up. After some time, he sat silently for some time. Then he stood up and said, "Jahapana." He said after a few minutes, "There are exactly 10,666 crows in all of Agra." So what did he say? There are 10,666 crows. He gave the perfect answer to King Akbar. Everybody was surprised that how he is giving. "Oh, really?" said Emperor Akbar. A little astonished at the quick response, everyone in the court was also puzzled. Then Akbar was a little bit surprised but happy also that he was the only person who has given the answer. So what he asked to him, "Is it really? Is it the accurate number which you are saying?" "Birbal, how can you be so sure? Let me tell you. I will have a proper count taken to see if you are right. I will check it, whether your number is correct or not. What if there are less than 10,666 crores? What is there? What will be the, if I will find less crores, then I will punish you. What if यानी क्या होगा? If it will be less." Then Birbal said, Birbal was not afraid of all the situation. He said, "Then they must have gone to visit their friends and relatives in Delhi." What was the reason? What was the excuse he gave? If there is less number of crows, then they must have gone to visit their friends and relatives in Delhi, Birbal replied. And if there are more, or agar zyada hai, it is possible that their friends and relatives from Delhi and elsewhere may have come to pay them a visit. So what did he say? That if they are less in number than what I have told, then the crows might have gone to their friends and relatives in Delhi and nearby cities. And if it is if it is more than the number which I have told, then their friends and relatives might have come in Agra. That's why the number has increased. So he used his wit. उसने क्या अपनी क्लेवरनेस, अपनी विजडम यूज की और फटाफट रिप्लाई दे दिया, क्योंकि उसे पता था कि nobody can count the crows. So he gave an exact number and says that if it is less, then they might have gone outside. If it is more, then they might have come inside in our city. So this was the reaction. Then what did he say? "But I can say with complete certainty that there are exactly 10,666 crores in Agra. But I am completely sure, I am fully confident that the number of crows is same." He didn't get afraid. Bilkul bhi, he didn't get afraid. He boldly accepted and said that my number is correct. If it is more or less, then the reason might be their visit to their friend's house, or to their friends or relatives to their house. Listening to this, Akbar started laughing loudly, and so did everyone in the court. The rest of the courtiers realized that, like every time, Birbal had used his logic and wit to come to a solution of what seemed like an easy problem. Listening to his answer, and Akbar started laughing, and when Akbar started laughing, everyone was got relaxed, and all the courtiers and nobles understood that this time also Birbal has used his wittiness, his intelligence, his quick answering and quick sense of answering, so solving the situation, and made by his logic and wit, he has made the solution seemed easy, which was very difficult. जो बहुत डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन था उसे भी उसने एक आसान सा क्वेश्चन बना दिया by answering like by his intelligence. Birbal, there is no one as clever as you, Akbar said as he burst out laughing. अकबर ने क्वेश्चन भी ऐसा ही थ्रो किया था because he was just want to see their presence of mind, their wit, that how they are reacting. So when he heard this, he started laughing. Now let us talk about more important matters. And at last he says, you are very intelligent, and now we should start. Continue our state matters which they were discussing. So they started, and everyone got relaxed and they enjoyed this incident. So I hope all of you have also enjoyed it. Go through the lesson and watch the video again to understand it. Thank you very much. Meet you again.